And we are back with another morning roast edition of the Black with No Cream podcast, where every Wednesday morning we deep dive into creative topics with the goal of giving you a daily dose of motivation and inspiration. I'm your host, Ben Haggerty, aka Ben Real First World. This is my co-host, David Malave, and this is episode 204. And we got a great topic today. It is called How to Become a Full-Time Music Producer, featuring Sara, the llstrumentalist. Sara is a music producer and entrepreneur who has created a full-time living making beats and instrumentals. She has created multiple revenue streams and is really paving a dope path that aspiring music producers can follow. A lot of music producers might think that the only way to make a full-time living making music is to produce hit records for major artists, but we wanted to bring in Sara to interview her on how she's been able to crush it with so many different lanes and opportunities that she's made for herself.
Yeah, she's really crushing it in so many ways. She has her own YouTube channel, she creates content for Instagram, she makes courses, she's even built her own lifestyle brand. And on top of that, she's creating music for platforms like Epidemic while also still making her own personal music and releasing on Apple and Spotify and other streaming platforms like that. On Spotify alone, since 2018, she's had 45 million streams. And her music's been featured in playlists in Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube Music, and more.
That's crazy. Another dope stat about it is that her music has been used in 70,000 YouTube videos with over 2 billion views total. That's ridiculous. Including features and videos with Will Smith, PewDiePie, Khloe Kardashian, and tons more. She works as a producer for Zane Lowe's Beats One radio show. Sara is a legend, and this interview provides a great blueprint for aspiring music producers to build a flourishing career outside of working for artists. We're excited for you to hear it, but if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, you are probably wondering,
what the fuck is Black with No Cream?
Great question. Black with No Cream is the illest educational resource for content creators fueled by caffeine. Or at least I take my coffee black with no cream, but you can drink or not drink whatever caffeine you fuck with and still be a part of our community. We have thousands of members from all around the world working together by sharing content, asking for feedback, passing tips and tricks along to one another with the goal of pushing each other to become the best motherfucking content creators on earth. And you can join our private group if you want to by going to BWNC.com/join. We would love to fucking have you. Please join. Now, without further ado, I bring to you the second most epic podcast intro ever created. Right motherfucking now! Welcome to the morning roast, a place where you will get the most info from a deep dive into the topics that really need life, with your host Ben and Dave, coming to you live today. Grab your cup of joe and take some fucking notes, you bitch. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Sara, the llstrumentalist. Sara, how you doing?
Doing amazing. Thank you so much for your time. How are you doing?
We're great. Where are you calling from? You're in Venice?
Yes, Venice, Los Angeles, California.
Yo, we're jealous of that beach life you got over there. We're over in East Hollywood.
Oh man, I was living in Hollywood for a second.
Yeah, so you know the vibes. We crave beach days on Sundays, so we're always hauling down there. But we're excited that we got to do this. Shout out to Epidemic because they looped us in together. I know you've been making music with them, but I would love if you could give kind of the audience like a rundown on who you are as a creator.
As a creator, that's just what I do. I just create whatever I feel. Most people know me for making or composing instrumentals. Like you said, for Epidemic Sound, I create royalty-free beats for content creators like YouTubers, commercials, TV shows, video games. And I also just create my own music, whatever I like, so beat tapes. And, you know, with my music journey, when I first started creating music, I started to document my story. So I have my story all on YouTube. I post videos probably at least once a week. And been doing that maybe for maybe 3 or 4 years now. And that led up to me creating my own brand, No Quantize. So I have my own business where it's a producer lifestyle brand that pretty much focuses on a few things that I actually wanted as a customer. I noticed when I would go shopping for t-shirts that there wasn't any like music producer type clothing that would maybe have like a beat machine on it or a vinyl or cassette tape or something cool that has to do with like music. It was really hard for me to find stuff like that. So I kind of just decided to make it myself. So it's like a lifestyle clothing brand mixed with giving sound packs to producers. So I create sounds for producers to use in their own beats. They're royalty free. And I recently came out with my own course, so now I'm an instructor. And I created my own machine course, the Native Instruments Machina. And it's mainly because when I first started, I was frustrated using it. So I kind of just wanted to create a guide that I would have wanted to have when I started making beats. So I created that for my audience, and that's been amazing. So, on a day-to-day basis, I actually produce and help the Zane Lowe Show on Beats One, Apple Music.
Yeah,
so
that's fire.
On a daily basis, I don't even know how I'm doing all this stuff, but that's what I do Monday through Friday, because he has a live show every single day at 9:00 for 2 hours. So we knock that out. We have a lot of fun. We do it from home now because of quarantine, but yeah, that's kind of what I do.
Goddamn.
Man, that's amazing.
Goddamn.
And man, so since me and Ben have been turned on to your work, what we admire so much is, I almost want to call you like a music entrepreneur because
Thank
of
you.
all of the avenues that you've been able to create. And you just ran through them all, but just having multiple revenue streams, and just for our listeners are, mostly people who, they work, or people who aspire to work in music. And if there are any music producers that are listening, they might think that the only way that they can go and have a successful career is to produce music for artists and trying to get hit songs, right? And here you are, you've created so many avenues for yourself to create a full-time career, a brand for yourself. You'll tell us later, but you said you have plans to make music in the future with vocalists, but but I think what we would love to start. Well, for you, getting started in making music? I know I've seen you say that, you made music on your break from work and 15-minute breaks from work, but did you ever see yourself going this path, or did you ever consider making music in the traditional music route?
No, as you're talking about this, all this stuff was not planned, because it's kind of planned, but it wasn't. I didn't really know. When I was growing up, I was a huge fan of Motown Records, so my goal was to go to college to become a music entrepreneur. So I looked up to Berry Gordy or Puff Daddy, or anyone that had their own, they're not just making music, they're actually helping other artists spread their message. And I went to school for business at St. John's University in New York City, and I interned at a bunch of places, like a marketing place, then like a recording studio for 2 years, and then I worked at MTV and VH1 in production, with TV shows. So I was just kind of I just wanted to get experience in the entertainment industry, but not really knowing exactly what to do. But I was learning. So when I graduated from college and I came back home to North Carolina, I didn't really know what to do. I was kind of stuck. I wasn't motivated, and I was kind of really depressed. And honestly, music kind of saved my life. There was this point where I listened to a llstrumentalist song, and I was like, oh, I'm inspired. I want to create instrumentals. And then when I was learning about him, I learned about Jay Dilla. And Jay Dilla is such a huge, important part of my life, because at this time, I was actually very sick. And Jay Dilla, if you know his story, he was sick. He actually died in the hospital making beats. And because I was sick, it kind of motivated me to create, try to not be so down about what I was going through. So that was my motivation. That's what kind of got me through life, is making beats. And I remember I just I want to create my own beat tape and just release music. And I remember the first time that happened, I got reached out by Epidemic Sound, and they told me, hey, you can get paid to make instrumentals. And I never even knew this even existed. I had another friend that was a YouTuber that uses my beats in her YouTube channel, and she told me when she looks for music for her YouTube channel, she goes to Epidemic Sound's library, and if she can't find anything that she wants, she goes to me. And she's like, it would just make sense if you were actually in their catalog getting paid to do what you do. And it kind of just aligned with each other. It aligned with what I was passionate about, and then the money just kind of came, or the opportunity started to come on its own. It wasn't really a plan, and then eventually everything that I was doing in my past started to make sense. Because I went to New York City by myself in college, knowing that I wanted to work in the music industry, but not knowing what that meant, you know? So now, you know, you can kind of see, or I appreciate going to college and getting that experience, because now as a producer, I'm not just a music producer, I'm a business person. I'm able to, you know, do the other stuff like, you know, bookkeeping, or, you know, keeping up with all these other logistics behind the scenes that maybe most producers don't know anything about. So it's really crazy how, like, I didn't know, but I kind of knew. And I also never knew I wanted to be a producer. I never accepted it until maybe just a couple of years ago. And ever since I started saying I'm a music producer, things started to happen for me. So
well, I like that. I mean, I don't like that you were in a dark place at one point in time, but with that, it created this, you used music as an outlet for you to express
right.
yourself and just to take your mind off of whatever you're going through.
Right.
And through that, your homie starts hearing that you have this music, they're using that, and you're able to parlay that into like, all right, cool, you need music for your YouTube channel, I'm having a blast making this shit. You know what I mean? I get
right.
to experiment, I get to make stuff, see if it works. You put it in your videos, if people like the music, that's cool, we keep making it. And that's kind of like the beginning of your discovery in that avenue, which is cool, because you weren't really like setting out to like charge people right away, and you're like, I make music for YouTube, I need to charge
right.
you for this clearance or whatever.
Right.
It just kind of happened for you. But it is really cool to see how it's grown for you, and the stats that you're able to put up on the board now are through the roof, especially after collaborating like with Epidemic. And when they told us about you, it was inspiring, because here's this person who, you know, went through it, who used to make music while working at, what was it, retail?
Yeah, at the Apple Store.
At the fucking Apple Store. So you're just like making music. Were you using Macs during the breaks to make music?
I was using my own equipment. I wasn't using their stuff.
But like, just to be able to jump on that and focus on that during your time there, and for it to develop into something where so many people have discovered your music through this. And so I guess for us, it's cool to see that, and it's inspiring. But I think it should be an eye opener for a lot of creators out there who think there's only one opportunity to make money. I personally have so many friends, and I grew up in music too. And so all my producer friends that would make amazing records, like all kinds of records, when it didn't click for us to write records for a superstar artist, it just seemed like kind of that was the end of the road, right? And I've seen a lot of my friends go on to just do regular shit because they're like, well, it didn't work, you know what I mean? And I hate that for people, and I don't think people realize platforms like Epidemic or uploading your music to Spotify and utilizing those outlets can grow yourself as a creative, you know what I mean? Which is so cool. So I would love to hear from you, like, for tips for people that are listening, could you describe some of the different streams of revenue that you've been able to build for yourself with your music?
Before I answer that, I want to also mention that at this time where I was making music for my friend for YouTube, a lot of rappers or artists would reach out to me to ask to use my beats as well. And I kind of felt weird about it, because it was like my baby, and then I was going to give my baby to the stranger. And I'm also very sensitive about what people say and like words in general. Like I really am passionate about like words or spells, and like you have to be careful about what you say and like the energy. So a lot of rap songs, specifically now in our generation, are very positive. So like I don't like a lot of what people are saying, so I didn't want a lot of people on my music. So I hesitated like with that confliction of like, should I, like, I love just making instrumentals. Why am I the only person that is okay with not having an artist on my song right now? And then I remember I wanted to make a video that said why I don't make beats for rappers. And I wanted to make this before I got signed to Epidemic, and it was just like me explaining like it's okay to like want to make instrumentals. And then at the same time I got signed, so it kind of made sense and to share that message with everyone, like, hey, it's okay to do it, plus it worked out for me. And it's okay to just stick to what you want to do and not like follow the trend, because I don't follow the trend. I really just do what I actually enjoy doing, and it worked for me. So I just wanted to mention that.
That's awesome.
That's super cool.
Yeah, but as far as like the different streams of revenue, like I said, I work for Beats One right now.
Are you making music for Beats? Like, are you making music for the show, or what are you doing with Zane Lowe?
I'm helping produce the show, which means I'm coordinating and managing the behind the scenes, which means I'm helping him with artist interviews, like prepping him, getting him prepared for the show, like having the music ready, make sure everything's clean, because we have to broadcast in over 100 countries, and some countries don't like, certain languages, so we have to make sure everything is just appropriate. And he has a live show every day, and it's 2 hours long. It's from 9 a.m. LA time, and we're producing it live, so like it's literally him DJing brand new music that comes out every day. So every day we have just a bunch of new music that the world is just listening to for the first time. We actually may be the first people to hear music that hasn't even came out and get to premiere it to the world. So it's just really cool just to be a part of that show. And that's what I do behind the scenes, like organizing a lot of the boring stuff, honestly. But it's cool. The show is really fun, and I love supporting him and his team. So that's what I do. I'm not necessarily editing the show or like actually making music for him per se. But I try to keep that separate, like my music production, like separate from radio production. I don't like the conflict of interest, because if I was to kind of like be that person and be like, hey, make sure you guys listen to my music and put it on the show,
right?
It's kind of just weird. So I don't, I keep it separate. But Zane is a huge supporter of my music, and he always talks about it, and I'm like, shh.
And that must be amazing, because for people who know Zane, he's such a music purist, and the energy he has for music is honestly infectious, like when you listen to the show. So just being in that energy and being there around a person like him and being involved and seeing the world premiere releases that you're getting to at least produce, like that energy has to carry over, I feel like, to your daily life, right?
It's amazing. Today, like this week has been like emotional for me. I've had a hard week, but when I get on the show, like it's just nothing but fun and laughter and just good spirits, and it's something I look forward to. And I am kind of sad that we're not able to go to the studio like we were, because it was so much fun being able, when you wake up early in the morning, sometimes you're like, I have to wake up. But like with this experience, it was nice because I would wake up and it's a party. Like we're literally having a party 9 a.m. in the morning.
Right.
And then literally an artist will come in every day, a different artist. Sometimes it'll be a whole room full of artists depending on the show. And it's really nice to kind of interact with them and kind of see a different side of the industry, because I'm an artist myself, a producer, and it's really nice to actually get outside of my world and visit someone else's world, and also get to be exposed to music that I've never heard or heard, so
yeah, it's like great education for you to be continue learning without having to continue to go to college. You know what I mean? This is probably the best college you could get. Sorry, what were we gonna say?
No, and just a great experience doing something else in creation, like not just saturating myself in just music production. I'm also learning about, radio or even podcasts that it's really just something new. And it could also lead to other streams of revenue in the future, because I'm learning a different skill than just producing beats.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely. And your background, like you said, you're coming up and your different internships you got and all that stuff. You're just such a well-rounded person, it seems like. And I honestly think that this is something interesting to delve into. I'm curious to your perspective, but like for a music producer, right? Like I'm sure aspiring music producer, I'm thinking like I need to be making beats every single day. That's all I'm doing. I'm making music. And I think that's definitely valuable for the practice and just like, the 10,000 hours. But can you delve into like the importance of having that outside entrepreneurial, well-rounded, like being able to talk to people, being able to reach out, network, understanding the business side, understanding different things, because I feel like that really is what's going to take you past just being someone who makes music, which of course that's a lot in its own, but having that 1-2 punch, I feel like, is important.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that make amazing beats, but no one knows it because they're not, sharing it. They're just making it and posting it, but they're not putting it on social media. They're not making videos, visuals. I think it's just super important to be a user or a customer and try to figure out what you like and what you would like to see. Like, oh man, or if you see something that inspired you, like some content that you saw, like it's okay to be inspired by it and try to figure out how you can even create it for yourself. So just being aware of other people that influence you and kind of using some of their ideas but doing it in your own way, and also just being okay with being educated and learning from others, YouTube, going to school, just reading a book, and it's just more important. Just it's music first and then the business.
Right.
Both of them are really important. So
it's important
You
to
need
practice
them both. You need them both.
You do need them both.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to kind of circle like how you were talking about being able to, you can sit there in your room and make music all day long, but no one's going to hear about that, right? So like for you,
right.
making music and getting the chance to expose that music through a YouTube channel was like step number one for you, and you just continue to put out your own music just to whoever might listen. And for Epidemic, finding you, I think it was like an A&R at Epidemic heard your music and was the one that reached out like, yo, we could collaborate with us. So could you explain kind of like how all of that came to be and like how much energy you started putting into that? Because when we go to Epidemic, if you search your name in there, there's a ton of songs. Like you have so many options, and they're all fire. Like they're all great. And I know that they've been used. The stats of like how often they've been used is through the roof. 70,000 YouTube videos with over like 2 billion views is what Epidemic told us that your music's hit. Like that's crazy. That's a crazy scoreboard stat right there. So I would love to hear about like utilizing, and obviously like Epidemic's working with us, but for people listening, it's like important to realize the value of being able to collaborate with brands like that and get your music exposed, because that I'm sure created a lot of opened a lot of doors for you beyond just Epidemic's doors into the world of different artists using your stuff, celebrities using your work, like etc. I would love to hear more about it.
What's the question?
Yeah, sorry, I talk a lot. Epidemic, getting the experience to work with them, I'd love to hear about your experience working with them and how that kind of helped your career growth.
It's been amazing. Like I said before, I was just creating things for fun, and I think when you have a passion for something and there is opportunity, it just fits well together. So I think our partnership is specifically just amazing because not only am I a music producer that creates royalty-free based music, I am a YouTuber as well. And a lot of these people that use Epidemic's music are YouTubers. And I understand how important it is to have good music with your content. So when this opportunity came, it was easy because I created my own music for my YouTube channel. So it's really awesome it was honestly a goal of mine. Like, man, I remember when Will Smith came out with his YouTube channel, and I was like, wow, his beats are pretty dope. Where's he getting these from? Like, and then kind of being frustrated, like, oh, I should be the one. My beat should be in his video. And then literally when I talked with the A&R Epidemic, we built a relationship. I finally got some music. I gave them some music, and literally the first day that it was in the library, I went on YouTube on my phone after I got the shower. First video that popped up was Will Smith talking about like bungee jumping because he was turning 50. And I hit the button, and then it was my song. And I was tripping because I'm like, wait, did I press play on my computer somewhere in the room? I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. The song that's my song in a Will Smith video, and it's cool. And then it kept happening. Like my songs kept showing up not only in just his videos, but other people that I actually watch. And I genuinely till this day will watch a YouTube video and be a consumer of this content genuinely, and then my song will pop up. I'm like, wow, I'm a part of this video. That's pretty dope. And I just think, to me, that was really one of my biggest goals, and everything else is really extra. Like, because people watch their videos, people want to know the song, so they'll Shazam it and then they'll listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music. And I'll get these messages from people that are always hitting me up every day, like, hey, I just discovered you, I can't believe it, giving me all this amazing love, and inspire me to continue to just do my thing. And not only does it gives me love, but it also helps pay some of the bills in the house. So I've been able to, like you said, just create multiple incomes. Besides beats, it's creating music. Besides beats, one is creating my own music, composing through Epidemic, having my own business, llstrumentalist,
You're probably
making
getting
sound.
royalties from having your music on like Spotify and Apple
Yes.
Music and stuff like that too, right?
Right. So I'll get like a royalties check, every 3 months or something like that, and also get paid for the music that I'm creating, as well as one of the biggest resources that I actually recommend for people that has been super helpful for me is creating a course. Creating the course, I really should have done it a long time ago.
Right.
Because it is a huge value for people that are looking to learn what you do. But it's also a huge way to earn passive income if you put the time and effort into it up front.
Right.
That's one of the biggest revenues that I have right now, and that's awesome. I only have one course, and I have so many topics that I could create on things that I love, and super grateful for that. So
You need more hours in a day.
I do. I
Don't
need
we
two
all?
of me. I wish I had two of me.
Yeah, hell
for
yeah,
real.
so do I.
I want to go back to the getting featured by Will Smith, because I'll read a list off of people that have featured you, but Will Smith, PewDiePie, Khloe Kardashian, GQ, Vogue, and Faze Rug, which is a gamer. And man, that's crazy, right? And I feel like back when you were talking about not wanting to put rappers on your beats, like what I can tell from your energy and what's cool that people might not realize when you're getting a song on Epidemic is like there's an artist, and that beat is not just a soundtrack. It's like a piece of art, right? And it means something. So to see your to see your track on someone's video and it providing the value to that piece and providing the energy or the meaning to that piece, that's fulfilling in a way that someone might not realize is fulfilling. You make music for that purpose, right? And I think that's really cool. And when you're creating your beats, right, and you're imagining a YouTuber using it or something, like, do you have in mind like the end product of where this thing might end up, and does that affect your creative process, or how do you think about that, knowing that the next big person might use your beat in their video?
Honestly, when I make music, I don't really think about any of that. I just kind of try to find something that sounds pretty and just start making things. I try not to think too much about where it's going to go. Sometimes it's crazy because sometimes, I have a deadline sometimes, and the beats that I make at the very end of my deadline will be the best songs that I'll create. And I'm like, wow, it took some pressure, but only 5 minutes to make this, but I really think this is going to go somewhere. So sometimes, and it may not. So, but it's just, I don't really think about it too much. I just create, and if something good comes out of it, it does. But I think for me, I know I have a good ear for certain things, and I try to think of it when I make a beat. Would I listen to this every day? And if I can't get with it, then it's not gonna get released at all. So all my stuff, I feel like it's confident where I know I enjoy listening to it. So if I enjoy listening to it, it's just a bonus that other people would listen to it and maybe even use it in their content. But I never really think, well, I hope Will Smith likes this song that I'm making, because even right now I'm creating more fast-paced dance music or just uplifting music, less like slower lo-fi music or slower hip-hop music. I'm like mainly dance music, and I have no idea how that's going to go, on with videos, especially right now. So I hope that it does well, but I enjoy it a lot because I'm growing and I'm creating a different sound for myself. So
that's awesome that you're following that, and it's cool. That's probably the best way to create, because you're not worried. It's like if it vibes for you and that's your, like, it fulfills you as an artist, and that's gonna portray when someone takes it. Because I just want to read this line because we thought it was so awesome, because it's cool that you're transitioning, but you got the illest description of your music on your website. It says, Sara creates soulful, lo-fi, boom bap, hip-hop beats with the dusty jazz spaceship vibe. And that's just the illest
title.
genre description of all time.
I made that up. I was like, what could I call myself? Like, dusty.
All of these things.
Spaceship.
Is it? I'm curious too. Like when you're picking your music, you have all these different platforms of where you're kind of releasing music, right? And so, like, say you want to put a tape together that you put out on like Spotify, Apple Music, etc., and then submitting music to platforms like Epidemic. How do you decide like what music goes where, and then also does like Epidemic give you analytics of how songs perform, and then does that kind of help you understand like, oh, I kind of want to write more music like that because that seems to be like what people are looking for, or do you just kind of guess?
Well, as far as you said 2 questions. What was the first one?
Shit, I got dysnomia. What was my first question?
The first question is, how do you choose which music goes where? So you might want to put
Gotcha.
a beat
Yes.
tape somewhere, or
Right.
let's go.
So with Epidemic Sounds or any other like royalty-free company I may be working for, the music has to be royalty-free, so I can't sample, vinyl or something from YouTube or Netflix or something like that. So for the most part, I'm either creating from scratch, which means I could be using like a keyboard and just using chord progressions or I could be using a sound pack that has one-shots. So I can create my own sound without, because if we're using like something like loops, someone else could use that and then their song kind of sounds similar to mine. So for Epidemic, I'm limited to using like certain things because it's royalty free.
Right.
So they have to make sure that music doesn't get flagged on other people's, YouTube channel or in any other type of way. So when it comes to like creating music where I really just don't care, like I'll just sample anything. I'll go to the record shop or I'll go to YouTube or, if I find like a really cool voice clip from like a Netflix show, I'll grab it and that'll be like on a beat tape. And if it's truly something I can't like clear, because some things you can get cleared through like TrackLib. That's a website where you could download samples and legally clear the samples so you can actually chop them up. But if it's something where I can't get cleared, I would just put it on SoundCloud or Bandcamp or something like that. But if it's something where it's from scratch, it may go to Epidemic. If it may be something I release, just depends. But
so do you email it to them, or like what is your submission process? I guess like are they kind of like letting you have free control of like whatever you think works, like we'll put it on the platform?
Well, right now we have a really good relationship. They're wanting me to kind of just develop into anything I want to do, because I think they kind of just told me at first to make just lo-fi beats, and then they kind of told me certain times to make slow or like sleepy, like a theme. It depended what's going on, because they request certain things. It could be like, we need some Christmas lo-fi beats,
right.
So we need you to create this. So it finally, eventually became to a point where they sat me down and were like, hey, we want to see if you're willing to just do your thing and create what you want. And I kind of told them I've been wanting to make dance music. So that's what I have been doing recently. And as far as the submission process, they have a website where you submit the music. There's Epidemic has their own engineers or producers where they review the music and they give me tips on how to mix it correctly. So really simple stuff like making sure the volume of the bass isn't too loud, or adding an EQ to the kick, making sure it's in the right range. And then they take the track and the stems and they master it for us, and then it gets put into the library, and then eventually we set a date for it to be in streaming services. And it's pretty cool because not only does I'm not just selling my music for them to have in their library for people to use in YouTube videos. It gets released on streaming services, and I get the ability to work with their artists and kind of tell them exactly what I would like for like the artwork. And we're also now working on a music video, which is really cool. So I'm really excited about just kind of expanding the content with Epidemic. But yeah,
that's really tight.
It's cool how much you developed a relationship with them where they can trust you as an artist and give you like the opportunity to like continue to flourish in that role and create more, leg room for yourself to make more than just what you were originally doing, which is awesome.
Yeah, because when you're making a bunch of beats like the same type, it kind of starts to sound the same.
Yeah,
and you're just like, all right, well, I want to change it up a little, and add, because certain genre sounds or lo-fi has a certain sound, but if it's only a certain amount of sounds you can use. So sometimes you just have to, you know, flex out and do some other stuff. So I've been wanting to do that. And I'm grateful that they, you know, have accepted me to do that.
How has moving, you know, towards the ocean and being in SoCal, how's that helped or changed the way you make music? Do you feel like the vibe is ever different for you, or do you feel like you make music the exact same way? Because I'm curious on relocating can, I don't know, change people's vibes entirely.
Yeah, so yeah, for sure. I have an album that's gonna come out. It's called No Traffic in LA, and this is kind of when the the whole lockdown happened, and there's literally no traffic in LA, and it's just so weird. And it just kind of like at this time it made me want to create more uplifting songs because of the situations that we're in. You know, I wanted to make songs that you can dance to and kind of forget about what's going on. So being out here where I have the privilege of being in lockdown, but in a really nice place, is definitely it changed my perception, because, you know, back at home in North Carolina, it's home, it's different, it's not the same. I do appreciate being out here, and yeah, it definitely is a vibe. So my music definitely has definitely a Cali wave.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm sure it does.
So if we're thinking about someone who's listening to this, maybe it's a young girl producer or a guy producer who's they're in their rooms and they know they have something with producing, but they can't figure out like how to go about it. Like, what's the game plan? Like, where do I start? To actually be able to say, like, I'm a full-time music producer. I make music for a living. And, you know, this whole episode was about how, you know, people's perception of what that even means hopefully is opened up a ton by listening to you. But, like, do you have any advice that you would give for someone like that just getting started? Like, what avenues they could take to start building that?
I would definitely use what we have. Like, I haven't even grasped TikTok yet, and that's a huge opportunity. I think you have to use what you have. If you're creating music and it hasn't been... you don't have a YouTube channel, or you're not breaking down like what you're doing on like Instagram or TikTok, that's definitely a huge opportunity. Just use what you have. It's so obvious, but if you actually are consistent, you'll build a fan base. There's a lot of people that like watching other people. So if you're creating content, at first it may not be as good, but it's okay. Like, you're going to get better. Like, so don't give up. Just make sure that you're consistent. Because I remember just having the drive to make videos and music, and now here I am. I totally didn't expect for any of this to happen. So create a YouTube channel, create, you know, don't just create Instagram just to post stuff, but like actually create content that's valuable, and just reach out to the community that you're working in. Like, don't just always expect people to give to you. Always, you have to give as well. So, you know, talk to people, like comment on. If someone follows you, like, say thank you. You know, each person is super important. Make sure that you let them know that they're valuable to your journey. And, you know, to go to forums, go to Reddit, go to Facebook community groups, talk to the people that are in your community so they can support you. Let your family know, let your friends know, because you may assume that they know, but they don't. They're not subscribed. You know, so send them the video. Like, you know, go ahead and drown them with stuff, because it's so funny how, like, at first some people don't support you, but once you start getting a groove, they're the biggest supporter. You know, but, you know, just like, you have to just force people to get on your way, but also just do your own thing. Like, figure out what works best for you. Try not to copy as much. It's good to be inspired, but, like, you know, do what you want to do, and have fun. Like, that's just the most important thing. Everyone can generally, I hear all the time, like, they can see me have fun, like, when I'm making music, and, you know, and I think that's really one thing that I love, is just, I love what I'm doing. So if you're loving what you're doing, the opportunities will come. You just have to sometimes you may not know what that is, and I'm telling you now, I didn't know, but I just knew that I love music. I wanted to be in the music industry. I had no idea I would be making the music. I thought I would just be like a business manager, or, you know, a record label owner, which I am, and I intend. That's why I said I want to work with vocalists. I want to be able to create or help other artists, do their own thing.
It's amazing.
So it's just a journey, So just take one step at a time. If you didn't have TikTok this week, make a TikTok this week, and then next week, if you're you had a TikTok, make another video. Make a schedule. Do something every Wednesday on TikTok, every Sunday on YouTube, every Friday on Instagram. Get your audience to support you.
No, that's amazing. Yo, congrats on this climb, because it's not easy, and it does take a while to develop that shit, but it's cool to see how it's worked out for you, and it just sounds like it's going like straight up, you know what I mean? So that's really cool. We appreciate you coming on here and sharing this info. I feel like this is awesome, right?
Yeah, I had a great time.
It was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I hope this helps people. I love this. Just one more thing on what you were saying, like, trying to get people to be on your wave, and I feel like, you create your own wave, and like when you're really excited about that and you're really inspired about what you're doing, people start riding with you. And when it comes to the social media stuff, it's like, if you're a producer, you make music, or any creator really, like, and you're scared to start putting yourself out there, start creating content and building a brand by yourself because of people looking at you a certain way, like, you have to, like, speaking that into existence and putting that energy out there that I am a music producer and this is what I do and this is the content I make. That's when you create the wave for yourself, I feel like.
Right.
And
exactly. When you own it, when you start saying it, because when you say it, then people are like, well, where's your stuff at? And you're like, you better come with it. You be like, here's my stuff. And then when you keep making stuff, it's just going to get better, because you just want, you're a music producer or content creator.
Right.
That's a fact.
You got to act like it.
Cool. Yo, so if anyone listening, if they can follow along with your journey, where do you want them to
go? You guys could follow me on any social media platform at Sara, the number 2 in ill, Sara 2 ill. And as well as check out noquantize.com. If you guys want to get any beat maker or producer merch, check out some very affordable sound packs, as well as my machine course. That's where you can find me.
Fire. We'll link to it. And obviously, if you're using Epidemic, if you're not by now, you're crazy.
Go grab some of those beats.
Go grab some of those beats, because she's got bangers. We're going to be dancing to that new shit soon.
Yes. I can't wait. I really can't wait for this new stuff to come out. So
yeah, we're excited for it. Cool. All right. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you too, man. Thank you.
All right. Later. Yo, that's it for our episode today with Sara. Thank you for listening. There's so much to learn from that episode, and we hope you guys follow along with her journey. She's killing it, and she's going to continue to kill it. So make sure to subscribe to her YouTube channel, follow her on Instagram, all that stuff. This Sunday, we have a really cool interview coming out with Christopher Rhodes, aka YC Imaging. He's a YouTuber with over 240,000 subscribers, and he's had over 21 million total video views on his channel. His channel is really cool. It dives into filmmaking tips and behind the scenes on the music videos he's developing. So we're excited for that one to come out. If you would like to try out Epidemic, Black with No Cream got a special code. Use the code BWNC when you're checking out to get a 30-day free trial of the commercial plan and 50% off your first month. The link for that is in the description. Anyways, that's it for today. New episode every single Wednesday and Sunday. We will see you in a few days, yeah, bitch.